Hi everyone, starting over again because something happened. There was a server problem or something with the phone. So like I was where I left off. I'm not even sure where exactly it ended before, but if you can be really secure with yourself and also dissolve and transcend this illusion of jealousy, then there's really like nothing to lose, right? And if you're in an open relationship, then you if you're dating a couple, let's say you're involved, you might have a main partner per se, but then you have 3 other people that you occasionally see or something. Then, well, if you lose your main partner, then maybe one of these other, let's say 3, could become your main partner, and you never really have anyone to lose. And if you lose someone, then there's people there for you that can help you get through it faster. So it's sort of a win-win, in my opinion. And if it's true that monogamy is sort of like a learned thing, that's really sort of a construct that we're just adapting to, and it's not really, it's sort of artificial, if you will. It's not really in our natural behavior to lean towards that. Then I mean, you're just, you're doing what's natural anyway. If non-monogamy is really the natural way and according to our real instincts, then I mean, I'm not going to recommend something that's based on a construct or based on conditioning or based on, some agenda that was out to control people a certain way for some reason. I mean, I'm never going to advise against that. I'm never going to advise for that. So, do what you will. But I mean, the more I think about, relationships, the more I lean towards, totally advising and non-monogamy and open relationships. And as long as you're honest, you have integrity, your heart's in the right place, you have good intentions, you're not out to hurt people, you're only out to be in relationships to improve each other, to help each other grow. You can grow together, you can have so much more fun. You can be in a relationship to transcend your insecurities, because if you are a little bit jealous, then that can be the way out. That can be the way out of sort of these delusions that we're harboring in our consciousness. And if someone is out with someone else and you start getting jealous or insecure, then you can meditate, and then you can start to dissolve all those patterns within yourself. And sort of these actions of, let's say, your different lovers could help to accelerate your spiritual growth. And what could be better than that, So many win-wins. And then you don't have to be in the statistics of most relationships ending or most marriages ending, because you're just never even going to have to even be in a committed relationship. It's just, the sky's the limit, You do whatever you want. The more freedom we can have as people, the better. The more sovereign we are, the better. And really, I know we have like all these sort of thoughts and beliefs about things and regulations and so forth and so on, but to me, as long as you're doing, if you're not hurting yourself or someone else, then I think people should do whatever they want. There's obviously limits to these things. We could be hurting someone emotionally, mentally, and that shouldn't be allowed either. So as long as we're not hurting anyone mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, then who's to say that it's wrong or it shouldn't be done? I mean, that's just my say. It's kind of common sense if you think about it. It's very logical. I think a lot of relationship stuff comes down to being really logical about it. And once you get rid of your emotional projections and you're distorting it so that it meets some unrealistic expectations or appeases your insecurities, the better. Just be very logical about it. A lot of it's common sense, and a lot of it isn't really too difficult. And relationships shouldn't be complicated. We don't have to have like some expensive dating coach who's going to babysit for us every step of the way. Because if we do, then we're sort of thinking that we're not enough, that we constantly need a professional. And if we have to impress someone that much, then that's a big issue. We shouldn't have to impress the opposite sex that much. because they're expecting way too much, and we don't want to let them think that we're going to be perfect, and that God forbid if we're not perfect in some way, they're just going to let us go. I mean, again, as I said before, I think in America in particular, a lot of people are being conditioned to be too self-entitled, conditioned to have their cake and eat it too. To live in a solipsistic world where they're really selfish, and it's all about them. It doesn't matter about any other people. They're selfish. It's all about, their ego and appeasing all these selfish needs at the consequence of hurting other people and stuff. And that's delusional. That's even almost seems sociopathic to me. So people are kind of being bred to be, I think, sort of narcissistic, so materialistic, and so about, if they're good enough only if they have their nice car and they're expensive, and they're making lots of money in their career, they're making this set of money, they got this nice house, this nice car, and I mean, if you really have to impress a woman, let's say, with that kind of stuff, then it's coming from the wrong place. And the kind of women that are only after that, why would you want them? And we don't want to train or condition a woman to think that that's what love is about, because it has nothing to do with love. That's really just conditional, egotistical sort of exchanging, like physical intimacy and whatnot, and being affectionate with someone for materialism. Or like, do you really want to be with a girl who wants a sugar daddy, as they call it, or something like that? I mean, probably not. I mean, if you're resorting to that, then that's a problem. If you're whether legally or illegally, you're paying for anything, then it's a big problem with that too. It's like, we shouldn't have to resort to that. Relationships should be pretty easy. Girls should want to be with guys because girls should want to be with guys. Guys should want to be with girls. It shouldn't be too complicated. And we shouldn't be trying to be like the other sex. Like, if guys are becoming too feminine and girls are becoming vice versa, do you see an issue with this? I'm not being a sexist when I say this. It's like, to me, it's like, the more anyone tries to be what they're not, the more they're going to shut their heart. They're going to shut their heart down. They're going to have lots of walls. They're going to be distorting reality. And they're going to find never-ending conflict with the opposite sex. Because we're supposed to polarize, we're supposed to complement each other and contrast and each other and get polarity in a relationship. And be opposing and kind of be the opposite in a lot of ways. And if there's no polarity, there's no spark. It's really just this headbutting between who gets to be more masculine than the other person, or something like that. Who's going to be more domineering? Who's going to be riding, at the steering wheel in the car on the highway than the other person, or something like that. Who's wearing the pants and who's not? It's not really about that. It's just this give and take between being a bit more submissive or a bit more dominant. And by dominant, I don't mean being controlling or telling the person what to do. It's not about forcing anyone to do anything. It's just, if you have a leadership role as a man, let's say, that's a healthy thing. And a woman, of course, will just, speak her mind when she doesn't want to go with something. And she's gonna, not just go with you for the sake of going. Though, I think the more a woman is just in love with you and she trusts you, she'll naturally want to take your lead. And as long as it's in her best interest and you're both doing what's healthy and making each other grow, and you're coming from the right place and an open heart, you have good intentions, then you really can't go wrong. It doesn't mean that you're going to be the leader the whole time, but, it probably is, maybe, if I was to be honest, in the beginning, dynamics of a relationship, one is probably sort of unconsciously steering the wheel more than the other person. So it's all in what you want. Do you want the woman to be sort of wearing the pants more, or do you want to be wearing the pants more if you're a guy listening to this? We're talking about straight relationships. Of course, I'm just going to say, I'm talking as if I'm always going to say we kind of be referring to guys and girls in in man and woman relationships. But if you're gay or if you're bisexual and wanting to be with the same sex, and just apply it, as if it's a same-sex relationship too, it doesn't really matter. Just for the sake of speaking and the ease of speaking, I'm gonna talk to who probably is the biggest part of my audience, and they're probably having, male and female relationships. So I'm just going to put that out there as I don't want to, try to covertly offend anyone when that's not my intention. I mean, as long as, you are who you are, that's authentically you. Then, then be yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a same-sex relationship or the opposite, whatever feels right to you. And as long as, you're not manipulating anyone or anything, then there's no right and wrong. That's what I say. So people are going to do what they're going to do, and there's no right and wrong when it comes to that.